Pocholo Cruz. Welcome to the second episode of my podcast, bro. The second episode. Can you turn your sound up a little bit, actually? Yeah. Drew snuck in right last night, right before you. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. How's this?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on. Yeah, and doing this with me. How are things, man? You out in Vegas?
Yep.
Yeah.
Things going well.
Yeah.
Enjoying Vegas. Yeah.
Well,
Honored to be part of the second episode.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, you're an experienced podcaster yourself. How many episodes have you done?
I've done 221 for Pancreation Philosophy, and then I've done probably I did 5 episodes of my other one, Fighters University, and then I've been involved in a few other I've been guests on some other podcasts as well.
Sick, dude. Cool. Yeah, so we'll be gone for about 24 hours on this one.
Okay.
Hope that's cool, yeah.
Hitting that record.
Go hard or go home, baby. I got to catch up to you in time, at least not in episode numbers. Well, the first thing I want to talk to you about is, well, like Drew, you were recently involved in a very exciting collab similar to his.
Yes.
With your wife, in making a child.
Yes.
How old is your kid now?
My kid he's 16 months. So, yeah, so a little bit over a year, not quite a year and a half.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so tell me about that. How's fatherhood?
Good.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Good. Yeah.
I mean, are you back to sleeping a little bit more now? It's been a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mainly normal. I mean,
Yeah.
People like say that, oh yeah, you don't get a lot of sleep. I think it's affected like a little bit. I mean, particularly when they're young. I think Drew's kid's probably younger than mine. So
Yeah,
it's still like
2 months.
Like 2, yeah. So a lot. So yeah, about a year younger than mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know when my kid was a newborn, they were definitely not sleeping. Well,
Yeah.
I think they do. Sleeping's not regular. It's just not a pattern yet. But now that as they get older, yeah, it becomes more of a habit. So
Yeah. They'll learn to prioritize. They'll learn how important sleep is. Yeah. Get on that Brian Johnson. Yeah. Okay, so has it changed? Like, obviously, it's changed your priorities being a father.
yeah.
Has it made what Drew was saying? Is it basically forced him to be more efficient in everything?
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, because now you have. Yeah, because now you have someone that depends on you, so you do need to be more efficient with your time. You're not just. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
I would agree, because since he's a large priority, I need to be sure that I'm not wasting my time with other activities. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, I'd say being more efficient definitely plays a role with that. Yeah.
Speaking of other activities, well, first of all, how's Vegas? And you've been there how long?
It's gonna be 4 years coming. So 4 years. This is the 4th year coming.
Okay.
So, yeah. So about 3 years. Yeah.
And I've never been. How far away are you from the Strip, the main area?
From the Strip area, it's probably about a 15-minute drive, probably a little less, just depending on what you consider the Strip. Technically, I live super close to like Las Vegas Boulevard, but just super far from anything that's like, or at least not super far, but far, like, just because I'm near Las Vegas Boulevard, that's not like what you would consider the Strip.
The main area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's probably good since you're a degenerate gambler.
Oh, yeah, I got to avoid that. I mean, there's no problem though being a degenerate gambler in Vegas. There's no opportunity.
Yeah.
For that to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what are you up to these days?
Yeah. So these days, the main thing I am is I'm the MMA coach at Fight Capital here in Las Vegas, and yeah, that's pretty much like the main hustle there. Just training students, and then I got like a few guys in competition team, and yeah, that's the main thing I'm focusing on.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I talked to your, I guess, trainee, would you say, Alberto?
Yeah, Alberto.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, I'm helping him out with some mostly just basic strength training stuff.
Okay.
Um, put him on I think he's doing 3 day a week, basic strength training thing, and I think his diet's pretty solid, so I don't think there's much I can help him with there. But yeah, so that's cool. Are you training? Are you fighting at all yourself these days, or
No, haven't competed. Uh, haven't competed at least in fighting for quite a bit.
yeah,
I did like a grappling a few months ago, so like late last year, like in December. But yeah, haven't fought quite a bit. And I mean, yeah, it kind of just goes to just being efficient with time
yeah,
in terms of, like I just feel like even though I can, it's not like I feel like the amount of time that I can put in wouldn't really be the kind of effort I'd want to put out there. And just the fact that there's also the consequence of physical damage, that's probably yeah, it's probably not one of my priorities in terms of that. So
yeah. Priorities change. I mean, with music, I'm teaching a little bit now these days. I used to perform a lot more, not as much these days.
mhm.
So yeah, stuff changed. Yeah, cool. So how's training people?
See, training people,
Yeah,
it's uh good. I mean, I enjoy it.
yeah,
Let's say I've been training, I guess been a trainer, teacher of martial arts for about yeah, for like 16 years now in terms of that. So
well,
it's happened yeah, enjoyable. It's like it's different. I mean, as a teacher yourself, you know, it's like different with each student is going to come in like with like different like backgrounds in terms of aptitude, why
yeah,
they're doing it, what their reasoning for wanting to learn something is,
yeah,
and then that's going to be their journey in terms of learning is going to be uh unique to them, and yeah, but it's a kind of yeah, it's a unique experience, and yeah, I really enjoy the teaching and the learning aspect.
yeah, yeah. So as you know, I'm getting into online fitness coaching. Uh,
Yes.
toying around doing it with that. Also a recent development for me. So yeah, similar thing. Do you work with people with their diet at all, or not really?
Like not directly with a diet, just because. So for like general MMA, like training, there that's not really like, an important part of it, or not. I wouldn't say it's like not important part. It's not like if I'm only seeing like if I'm training somebody like an hour or 2 hours a week, in terms of giving them dietary advice, that might not be the most helpful thing like at
Yeah,
that point. But like the only dietary advice I give people is mainly to like people like competing or in terms of fighting, and that just comes from experience of my own, just because it's a weight class based sport, so they would need to be like a certain weight like on a day, and I give them some I give them some guidelines or some things that work for me
yeah.
that helps on that, and then whether they execute it or not is on their own.
Yeah, you
But
can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. And I could definitely think of just some examples of fighters that just like that just thinking like I don't get it, man. I just can't lose the weight. It's like like what'd you have? Like I had oatmeal, eggs, triple deluxe cheeseburger, like chicken, rice. Wait. What was that last thing? Chicken and rice? It's like no.
Okay, it could be that, but have you considered maybe they are able to defy the laws of thermodynamics? Could be that.
I
Did
mean,
you
they
consider
could.
that? But you didn't consider that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if they could, but I mean, apparently they chose not to do it the day when they had to weigh in. Weighed in 8 pounds over. So,
So
uh,
what's the weight cut like? Like how much weight do you cut and in how much time?
oh yeah, so it varies, of course. Depending on like from fighter to fighter. I would
Yeah.
say for going like general, typically, I mean, as a whole, the more you weigh, typically the more percentage you can like cut. So I guess we're going like percentage wise, like uh probably I'd say the average like around like 8 to 10% of like body weight, which is gonna be like around 10 pounds. Like for somebody like for me when I was competing, I competed at 100, like at 100, like 35 pounds, and but I was pretty much weighing like I was pretty much weighing like probably about like 150, like 155, like normally.
Okay.
So pretty much that's about yeah, so that's around like 20 pounds in terms of cutting, and that's not, and even then it's not really like crazy. I mean, but crazy of course is like relative in terms of
Yeah, yeah.
what that is.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we've all heard of like crazier weight cuts.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and then um. And then as far as how that looks, it's mainly water weight is the biggest like cutoff, and the in terms of like the manipulating part of it, or in terms of like changing, because I would say I probably got to like the normal process is like okay if I like maybe like a month out, I'd like to be at least like within. I try to be like if I'm 4 weeks, I'd like to be within maybe like 15 pounds of where I'd want to be. So maybe I wouldn't want to be more than 150 like beforehand. And then I'd try to maybe hopefully like 2 weeks like beforehand, try to be like within like maybe within 8 pounds, maybe like try not be no more like 143. And then ideally like week up I try to get like 140 or under. And then if the so like depending on like where I fought or when I fought, like all of them were like day before weigh-ins, which is like common. So like if you're fighting Saturday, then you'd weigh in the day before you weigh in on Friday. And I would try to yeah, so pretty much the only time you need to be at the weight class or at the weight that you're supposed to be is really for like a few hours like on the day.
Yeah.
So I probably got I was only like 135 probably for yeah, for probably about a few hours or so before weigh-in. Because I'd try to time it to like pretty much I would make it because usually the weigh-ins were like in the evening or like late afternoon. So probably like around like a few hours, like maybe like no more than like 3 or so hours before I get to that point, and then after weighing in, just immediately start rehydrating.
Okay.
Uh,
So that's pretty significant weight cut, like 15 pounds in like 4-ish weeks. But I
yeah,
guess a good amount of it is water weight.
yeah.
Um,
I would say yeah. I'd say probably about at least half of it is probably water weight.
what do you do to lose the water weight?
So the majority of the water weight I would say is lost like pretty much like the week of, and the main like one of the main things I did was water loading, and that's just pretty much it's like where you ingest purposely like a lot of water just for where you just ingest like a lot of water just so your body gets used to like flushing it out. So like I would ingest like in the beginning like so let's say typically like what it is that I'll just like a lot of water, like let's say 2 gallons, like about like probably about a week before like the weigh-ins, because if you take in 2 gallons your body like is going to take out 2 gallons, and then it just gets used to just taking it out or flushing the water system. And then but I would be taking in like less water. So I go from like 2 gallons to 1 gallon, and then from 1 gallon to like a gallon and a half. But my body's just so used to just flushing it out. It would still like think that I was ingesting more water than I needed. And then that probably got like the majority of the weight loss. And then like the rest of the water weight is just like sweating it out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you drink a bunch of water and then you drink less water. I've done that. I've done similar thing, but with food, where I
Yeah.
ate like way too much food for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then the next week I eat less food.
Okay.
And I don't know, something happened. So
Something happened. Would you say that was effective or like
it was an effective way to gain weight fast. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So
for sure.
yeah, I'm very effective in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the yo-yo diet, as I say.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah.
mean, puts your water weight loss to shame. I probably gained like 20 pounds in a week, bro. Yeah,
It's
so
like
you're talking rookie numbers, man. You gotta get
you
on my
gotta pump
level.
up those numbers, bro.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's maybe I don't know if people can listening to this can take away something from that. If they want to like get shredded for a day. They can do some water. You call it water loading?
Yeah, water loading. It's
Okay.
really only effect. It's like once again, it's for like a weight class based sport. Yeah, I don't know Yeah, it's only effective like maybe if you had to. Yeah, it's just water manipulation to get your weight down to like a certain thing. That's why a lot of people in weight class based sports will do it. Like
Yeah.
like wrestlers, like
I bet people do
fighters,
that
of
for
course.
photo shoots or something similar.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
yeah, probably some somewhere on that.
I've never. as much as I've looked into like diet and nutrition stuff, I've never looked into like the ways you just lose like a bunch of water weight fast.
Yeah.
Um,
But I mean, it
because
comes down to like what you're wanting to do. Like it's that's why it's only relevant to someone that has you need to weigh in at such and such weight at this time, and that's
yeah,
really why 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 people would do that or why people would yeah because
yeah,
there's really no other effective way or there's really no other
no
way
reason.
like that someone would do it.
Well,
Yeah,
what if someone's got a hot date?
and they gotta hop on a scale like to do so.
Well, but you look like you're leaner. I don't know, you're not leaner. You're like drier. I don't know. You have less.
I guess you would look more jacked, like in
Right,
terms
that's
of,
what I'm
but then
saying.
you'd also be like
Irritable.
chronically like unhydrated. So I don't know how good your conversation is. Like, so the words.
That's okay. Yeah, conversation's overrated, anyways. Yeah.
Just wear an orange vest just to compensate. Like,
Wait, like a weight running vest?
no,
That
no,
thing?
like no, like a something like a special needs person like would wear just so that they know it's like, oh man. I mean, they look great, but apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. We gotta stop with the dating advice. That's for the paid subscribers only.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
They got to
Yeah.
pay to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I know this is your specialty, so we can't give away too much free good stuff here.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
That's for next episode. What about salt manipulation? So do you do anything with that?
Yeah, like in a fairly simple way, just because yeah, the more I mean, the more salt that you have, the more that absorbs water. So pretty much, yeah, like towards like yeah, towards the thing towards the week is avoiding sodium, avoiding like salty foods, just because anything yeah, because anything that you ingest that will hold water that just hurts you in terms
Yeah.
of that, especially if you're trying to lose water weight.
Do you have more salt the previous week with the more water or no?
Typically no. I think the biggest thing is just like would be like getting less salt, like towards maybe like 2 weeks, like starting 2 weeks or so before, and
Yeah.
then especially towards like the week of, just because the more you lose without having to sweat, I feel like the easier it is because that's like I would say that's the hardest water weight to lose. Like if you're having to go, I mean, guys go different ways, like a sauna or like a hot bath, but like having to sweat out like water is a can be a painful experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I imagine so after weigh-in, how much time is in between weigh-in and the fight? Generally.
Typically like around like 24 hours,
Oh, really?
possibly more.
Okay.
So it's
So more
like
than enough time to get a bunch
yeah.
of good
Oh yeah,
food
yeah,
back in
yeah.
your
Yeah,
system.
exactly. So I
They
think
don't
I
want people
got
dying for the
yeah,
fight,
yeah,
right?
without people dying. Well, as long as they
Yeah.
don't die on their way down there. But
Yeah, I'm sure a handful
that
of
which
people
has
have.
happened. Yeah, that happens just because yeah, chronic dehydration. Apparently
Yeah.
not good for your system.
Dude,
But
it's funny with fitness, like obviously it's healthy to be fit, right? And then if you take it too far, you can be unhealthy or die. Like right?
right?
Like
Yeah.
like a lot of bodybuilders,
Yes.
like, you know, basically as soon as you start taking drugs, you're affecting your health, right? There's a thing called the safer use model where you can be on the safer side,
Yeah.
right? And, you know, just because you're doing PEDs doesn't mean you're going to be super unhealthy. But it is inherently less healthy, I
Yeah.
believe.
Inherently unhealthy, just
Even
the
if
nature
just a
of it.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Obviously at the high level, you're not doing it for health anymore. You're doing it to win, which, you know, if you want to like achieve something great and chop off 5 years off your life, like go for it. Like
Yeah,
I have no
no,
problem with
that's
that.
true. It's their choice in terms of that, but yeah, there
Yeah.
is that inherent risk, but that's just there. I mean, as you mentioned, in terms of that kind of success or like having there, it's kind of an inherent risk that you kind of do, or else it wouldn't be or else I guess it would be more easily achievable in terms of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Every gym bro or most, who's like been in the gym for a while has, I feel like, thought about at least going to that side.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like, and
You're watching up pro science videos and like, yeah, this is it.
yeah, or just watch anyone on Instagram who
Yeah,
looks jacked. You're like,
yeah.
man, take it to the next level. Um, so yeah, starting fitness coaching, like I was thinking like, man, like to be a really successful fitness coach online, it probably helps to be on something. Just because not because it's going to make you a better coach, just because of the marketing,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
and that's the thing too. Sometimes, yeah, because a lot of it is marketing. It's a matter of like, is the most effective coach really the one that's the most popular? I mean, it kind of comes down to, like in the field of music, is like, oh, is the most popular musician, is that technically the best like musician in terms of stuff? So
yeah, I guess it's semantics at that point. Obviously, like the musicians are making the most money are not the most like technically proficient,
mhm.
but they're good at a different thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that, say, Brad Meldau, who's a great jazz pianist, is any well. He might be more of a musician than Taylor Swift. I guess I'm not trying to take away
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
Taylor Swift. She's like super successful, and she
yeah,
resonates with a bunch of people.
yeah.
And
But
yeah,
there's
she
other areas other than just being a musician that's caused their success, not just
exactly. Yeah,
being. It's like, oh man, Brad, if you were just a better musician, you could you could be selling out stadiums. Like, what happened here?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, yeah. Anyways, I was thinking about that. I've always, as I get older,
Mhm.
I mean, for me, the percentage that I do some extracurricular activities, as they say, has always been pretty low. Um, but I was like, man, if I get into fitness coaching, that would help with marketing, right? Um, I don't know. I feel like I'll probably get on TRT when I'm older. Have you thought
Okay.
about that?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
In terms of seriously, yeah, I definitely
yeah,
thought about that, and then just knowing, I mean, being in gyms like a lot, I know that I know people that get on TRT and like and talk about that, and, about possible benefits in terms of that, and then it's just, yeah, I'm definitely looking at it, and yeah, definitely considering that, just because it definitely affects. I know, I've definitely seen like someone that was on low T trying to live an active lifestyle, and then just seeing the difference in terms of, and them also talking about how they felt like once they did get into supplementation in terms of testosterone,
yeah,
and their performance, and them just feeling just goes up, and
yeah,
how vital like that is. I mean, there's a reason why there's a reason why people do it, and yeah.
yeah. My dad's on it.
Okay.
Um, yeah. And more. So he went through. He had cancer and
Oh,
beat it.
okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so part of the cancer treatment was a different kind of TRT, testosterone reduction therapy.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, bro.
So
So
so was the testosterone like activate, like was it somehow related to the cancer, or?
yeah, so it's prostate cancer.
Oh,
So
okay.
this would stop the cancer from spreading, basically.
So the
More
more testosterone was actually hurting kind of the chances of there being less cancer. Okay.
potentially, and this is part of the reason why he wasn't sure he wanted to get on TRT, the
Okay.
testosterone replacement therapy, afterwards,
Okay.
because there's a possibility that it would spread,
Okay.
like it would come back.
Yeah.
But he thought that the risks were low and worth it. So
Okay.
um, anyways, he has a cream actually. He just rubs on. I always joke like I'm gonna take some of your cream, like yeah,
Like, oh no, where'd the cream go?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's for an older Brent. I mean, I'm 34 now. I probably won't do it till I'm like 35, probably. No, just
No.
playing. No,
Yeah, until
no.
I'm 35.
I don't know.
Well, I think it also comes down to like
For,
levels. I mean, that's kind of what they check, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe in my 40s and 50s, we'll see. But um, yeah. Anyways, um, yeah. Oh, strength training. Do you?
Okay.
I remember, man. We've been to the gym a little bit
Yeah.
together a while ago,
Yeah.
and it was always interesting. Like, do you do any strength training, or have you, or what is the role of that in MMA and
Yeah.
combat
Yeah.
sports?
No, that's a great question. So
Thank you.
I do strength training. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, well, when we did, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't done this. But I guess like now I do. I'd say probably like around twice a week. Probably like yeah, around twice a week. I'm like in terms of strength training, and that's just yeah, just some lifting. But I mean, I also do probably more often. I've been doing so there's like I do some like twice a week like traditional weightlifting, but some other things I've been exploring in terms of like strength and conditioning. I wouldn't say it's like typical lifting, but it's more of a just I'd say it's like, I wouldn't say sports specific, probably more like trying to like build on like explosion in terms of balance, or more like dynamic kind of movements that I've been looking into, and I've just looked into some other like strength and conditioning coaches and what they've done like to build that, and I just do that for myself, so then I understand, okay, this is like, see if it works for me, and then I would like tell my students like to do that. Like, this will probably be helpful for you just in the sport that you're looking to do because that's vital.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
So
I think it definitely plays a good role in terms of I think it plays a good role in any kind of sport. It's just a matter of like what you're using it for and understanding like what benefits you're looking to do.
wait, so what you're saying is it's beneficial to be stronger if you play sport?
Yeah, I know
Crazy.
this is bring yeah
Out,
it
get
comes
out.
out yeah I know
Yeah.
outlandish.
But do
Someone
you
write this down.
yeah, yeah. Do you is it correct to say that you don't want to be too bulky in MMA or combat sports, or does muscle mass help as well, or does it depend?
Overall, muscle mass is helpful because once again, if we go to the example of a weight class based sport, if it comes down to it, like let's say you're 200 pounds, the other person's 200 pounds. Typically, the person that has more muscle mass.
Yeah.
You would rather be like that person.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say there's not really a point where muscle mass would be like hurting you. Uh, it's just a matter of, and then another thing too is like muscle also ends up absorbing or like taking in like more water. So if you have, it's then easier to lose water, whereas like fat ends up kind of storing that like, a little bit more. Like I find that if you're essentially like leaner, or if you have more muscle mass, it's kind of easier to both like to lose the water weight and then they can kind of gain it back in terms of that. So
Do you take
it's kind of
creatine?
what's up? Yeah, I say creatine. Yeah.
Is that a no-brainer for fighters as well?
I would say so, yeah. Just
Yeah.
because of the and I would say I mean not just for the muscle benefits, I'd say definitely just for the like conditioning aspect of like keeping yourself like uh and then and then of course I mean we talk about the water manipulation, I would definitely like not do that like the month before, but
Mm.
pretty much like once I weigh in, I'd definitely taking like a bunch of creatine to like to load that back up onto my
Yeah.
muscles like afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, even my parents take creatine. There are
Yeah.
some purported cognitive benefits.
Yes.
Um, I don't know.
That's
They
also
have,
important in a sport where you're taking a lot of brain damage.
yeah, sure. Hasn't helped me. I'm still dumb as a rock.
Well, imagine how much dumber you could be, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is me on creatine. Imagine me with that.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, "Duh."
That's another thing about PEDs is they can make you dumber. I
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know to what extent. I imagine TRT probably doesn't, but if you get into the harder stuff, there are some, what is it, neurodegenerative drugs out
Yeah,
there.
I've heard like I've heard like a little bit about that. It's like maybe bodybuilders talking about how it like can build brain fog or kind of lose. But I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. It's like you're altering your body chemistry for like a response, and like you're getting the response, but maybe it's like a monkey's paw in terms of like, oh yeah, you got your wish, but like at what cost at that point? Yeah.
I actually haven't. I didn't quite know the monkey's paw analogy or
Oh, the
saying.
monkey's paw analogy of it.
Yeah, what is that exactly? Explain
So
it.
the monkey's paw, it's it's like a superstition where it's like a mystical object, like it grants you a wish, but the wish always has like a there's always like a catch in terms of the wish. Like, oh yeah,
Uh,
I wish for like like $1 million. Like, oh, you get it all and it crushes you. like like in terms of that.
okay.
Yeah. Or it's like,
Huh.
oh, wish for like eternal youth, and then you're just a baby. like
I don't know, man. Being a baby's not so bad.
Yeah.
I like being a grown-up man though.
Yeah, yeah.
Personally, like I get to do what I want whenever I want. I have freedom. Um,
It's kind of good. Like, can you
I,
imagine being eternally like a 2 month, like Drew's 2 month year old? Just that. Yeah. It's like, oh, you got eternal youth. You got
bro,
what you
I
wanted.
I
Yeah.
would I would beat I would take that. I would beat Drew's too. Yeah, Drew would have me in good hands.
You'd be
Yeah, yeah.
good at
I
it.
would take that deal.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure Drew would want you though for like for the rest of his
Am
life.
I the size I am currently?
Uh, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Let's say
we'll
that.
say yes. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
say yes. Yeah, that's more fun that way. Just bullying my dad around.
Well, with a cognitive function
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
2 month-year-old, yeah.
All right, that reminds me of some questions.
Okay.
Stay tuned, listener. I'm gonna ask some more really fun questions, but I have this
Okay.
other one. So with the guy I'm working with MMA,
Yeah.
um, maybe you have thoughts on this.
Okay.
Uh, when I did a little research on strength training for combat sports,
Okay.
one of the things I found and the conclusion I came to is that we should just do basic strength training and
Mhm.
maybe leave because he was mentioning maybe strength training with explosive movements,
Yeah.
and you say you do some of that. But my thought was like, okay, we do strength training with the goal of getting you stronger
Mhm.
and maybe bigger and maybe
Yeah.
some more muscle mass. And then you can also do other things that to focus on explosive movements, which I know nothing about, but I can, get you on the strength training program for those two things, stronger and more massive. And then we do like the strength training that's best for that, just basic, squat, bench, deadlift,
Mhm.
pull-ups. And then the other is for the, does that make sense?
Yeah,
And do
yeah,
you think
yeah.
that's accurate
So
or
it's
no?
like focusing on like one aspect, or are you trying to do like two aspects at the same time? I mean, it comes down to like the matter of mm, it's just a matter of the more you try to multitask, like the less effect. Because then if you try to do like strength gain and then also trying to build explosiveness, then you're kind of taking away, like one from the other. You wouldn't get as far strong as you would in terms of that. It's like yeah, so I think it'd probably be rather better just to have one focus and just do that for like a period of time and then try to do something else for a period of time, just in terms of looking for like the most gain for the time that you that you're spending.
Yeah, that was my thought. It's like a monkey's paw. No, I'm just playing. I'm just trying to use that thing. When in Rome,
You
right?
only have so many fingers on the monkey spot. Yeah,
Yeah, when in Rome. Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you're training technical stuff for the fighting, you do that,
yeah,
right? You're not doing
yeah.
it with like weights on your legs and stuff to try to get stronger
No,
while you work on
no.
technique.
You're trying to get the technique first, and then you worry about the other things.
Yeah,
And I
exactly. It's
think
like
that's good too, just for strength, because you'd rather get like so from the strength and condition coaches like that I've learned from, especially when it comes to that, it's like typically you'd want to get like you build your your mass, or you build your muscle mass, or in terms of like hypertrophy, try to get like more muscle mass, like and then you want to go then kind of strength kind of already comes down to like building muscle mass, but then there's like a difference between like building for growth and then building for strength, and then building for power is then a different thing, because now it's another element of that. But you rather pretty much the way it goes is that you'd rather get like okay as much muscle mass, and then you want to build the strength to it, and then you'd want to build like the power and explosiveness to it now that you have that kind of structure in
Yeah.
terms of it. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, multitasking is generally less effective. Like I was considering practicing a Chopin piece on piano while doing this interview. Um,
yeah.
but I know you're probably appreciative that I decided not to do that. Yeah.
Yes, in terms of focus, but yes.
Yeah, mostly just it would have hurt the Chopin. It would have probably sucked, been a bad practice session.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, switching to more, I know you're a thinking man as well.
Okay.
Do you have time to read it all these days or listen to audiobooks, podcasts? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'd say the main I'd say the main thing. Let's see, the last thing I read was on was on it's talking about like ecological like learning by let's see, the author was like Rob Wolf, I want to say was his name.
Rob Lowe?
No, Rob Wolf. No, Rob Lowe. Yes, Rob Lowe. uh,
Okay.
but it's yeah, it's pretty much talking about the yeah, but talking about like just different like learning kind of patterns in terms of that. Because in martial arts, there's this current like debate between pretty much what's called this new thing called, or I wouldn't say necessarily new, but I guess it's getting in vogue, called like the ecological method as opposed to like traditional method, and then just seeing uh yeah just seeing if there's a more, I guess, more effective way of learning.
Okay. Interesting. In what period of your life would you say you read the most?
Hmm. I'd say probably school, because
Yeah.
you're like forced to read,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but I guess in terms of like yeah, because I guess we're going quantity. Yeah, because then I essentially I guess I read every day. I'd
Yeah,
say
yeah,
now I pretty much read, or at least like try to get knowledge like maybe like less, but I think I would say I retain this more because I'm learning it just to want to learn it, rather than like I'm reading it just because I have to. Like
yeah.
if that makes
Interesting.
sense.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I feel like for me, I read the most in like my maybe like early to mid 20s when I was
okay.
like really trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
Not that I've figured everything else out now, and I still like to read a little bit, but
True,
I
true.
find that often I just prefer, well, action is always preferable to
Yeah.
reading,
Yeah.
right? But reading is still good. So
For sure.
I don't
For
know.
sure.
I guess what I'm saying is I read less these days, but still try to a little bit.
Yeah.
So cool
Uh,
story, bro.
how about you? Like, are you reading anything in particular?
I'm reading this one right now. Influence.
Influence. Okay.
This is a classic and pretty popular book. It's by yeah, a psychology professor, I believe. Yeah, PhD. But it's for laymen, so it's like yeah, talking about how people are influenced, how to influence people, and how to not fall prey to like I don't know.
Like con artists or stuff.
Yeah, yeah, sales tactics, and also like everyday people using that coming on your podcast and trying to influence you, like to train an MMA to become an MMA fighter. So
Right, right, right.
yeah, I know what you're up to.
I mean, it doesn't make sense that you're, spreading your influence of fitness. So yeah.
Trying, man, just trying to get people healthy. Dude, do you know much about GLP-1 drugs?
GLP-1
It's
drugs.
like
No, what?
Ozempic.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it as a joke. I know that people like take it. So, well, I guess not that it's a joke maybe for those people, but I know that. I think one of the jokes I heard is like, oh yeah, like those kinds of like pretty much like those kind of weight loss drugs. It just shows that people were only body positive until there was a magic cure. Actually, cured. I was like, oh, where's that body positivity now? But like,
Yeah, there's a South Park episode about it.
oh
It's
yeah,
like
of
you
course.
can either there are two drugs you can take. It's like Ozempic or Lizzo. So like yeah,
uh,
yeah. Anyways, I'm on one right now, actually.
okay,
Yeah, yeah. So I was on one last summer.
okay,
Um and yeah, for like a while.
okay.
And it just basically helped me get shredded. Um and then when I went off it cold turkey, I got unshredded quite quickly. Um but yeah, I think they're really good and are going to help a lot of people, both people with diabetes and just people who are overweight, going to help a lot of people lose weight because it basically it like zaps your appetite. It
Okay.
slows gastric emptying and like a bunch of other cool stuff. And yeah, I've been bulking up for the last 14 weeks, and I still take just a little baby dose.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah,
So I guess in terms of dosage, like for that, like so if you weren't bulking, would you take like a larger dose? And so is the main thing affected? Is it like appetite, or I guess
yeah,
like okay,
yeah, basically. And yeah, so if I were to cut, I would up the dose.
okay,
And yeah, yeah, it zaps appetite, it just slows gastric emptying, and basically makes you eat less food. Um, so yeah, like I was talking to this trainer, and he
uh-huh.
was like, yeah, some of my clients are on a GLP-1, and they log their food, and it's
Okay,
like they're like 1,000 calories short, and I'm like, did you just forget to log half your food? They're like, no, that's what I ate.
that's all
Like
they ate. Okay,
people just don't eat as much. Yeah.
okay. And did you notice like any health drawbacks at all?
Um, n- Only the health drawbacks associated with being shredded at like
Okay.
9.5%
Oh
body
no,
fat.
cursed by success.
Yeah, well, I mean, there
Yeah.
are like I became like more irritable and like in
Mhm.
some ways a little less fun to be around. Um, and yeah, I remember one time I was gonna do sprints with some guys,
Yeah.
and I was gonna run there like 3 miles to the sprints, and I started running, and I was just like, guys, I cannot. I'm just
Yeah.
so dieted down.
Okay.
Um, so, but yeah, no, I didn't experience any adverse effects other than the ones that come
Okay.
with
Yeah.
losing 40 pounds in 5 months or whatever I did, 30
Yeah.
pounds. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because I've been really, I myself haven't really looked too much into it. I mean, I guess I did, I mean, I didn't actually read the articles, but I just saw like there might be like some health drawbacks, but I'm guessing those are probably from extreme like cases, like maybe people like losing hundreds of pounds. Yeah,
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 and they've actually been out for I don't know if it's like 2 or 3 decades.
uh-huh.
Not the current versions, but older versions, just for
Okay,
people with diabetes.
yeah,
So it's not like these drugs are completely new. There are new versions of them, but yeah, most of the drawbacks that people talk about are not inherently with the drug.
hmm
It's like muscle loss is a big one.
Okay.
And
Yeah. So
so
is that true at all, or like why does that occur?
look at my photo from August, man. You see it? You think I lost muscle, bro?
You see all this muscle loss?
I actually probably did lose a little bit just because I cut so much. But muscle loss is not inherently uh, from the drug. It's
Okay.
just from people losing weight improperly.
Just losing weight like improperly. Okay, so like
Basically,
the normal reason.
too quickly,
Okay.
not consuming enough protein, and not weight training.
Okay, so the
So
normal reason why people would lose muscle, it's like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
so you just lost weight in like yeah, like you
Yeah.
crash
Yeah,
lost weight.
especially a lot of people taking this are not, into fitness already. So they haven't been on their diet. So like maybe they just take their crap diet of like, 4,000 calories
Mhm.
and then they just it's like an hour crap diet of 2,000 calories,
Okay.
but still deficient in protein and they don't weight train. But for people who do those stuff, it's fine.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I could definitely see a lot of benefit of that then if if I had a if I was fighting, if I was suggesting someone like that's looking to lose weight, that would probably be helpful for them since they have
yeah,
to lower
there
their
is a big
calorie intake.
drawback about these dates is cost.
Oh,
They're
got it.
they're really
Yeah.
expensive for now. So maybe down the road, I mean, hopefully the cost will come down, and if they get cheap, it'll just solve the obesity crisis. Like if you're rich right now, you don't have to be fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like yeah. Um so yeah. It's
Okay.
it's funny because we always, people who are into health and fitness and sports, it's like mindset stuff, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know, don't be a little baby, like just do it, right?
Yeah.
Just you don't feel like training today, doesn't matter. You got to train, right? Which is true. And then also that kind of goes out the window if you just inject yourself with this drug.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, you still got to train if you want to keep your muscle, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like in terms of the, it's like mindset doesn't even come into the equation because it's already getting helps in that kind of way. It's like
yeah,
yeah, there's mindset. I could like run farther, or I could just get in this car. And then
hey,
it's like
that's a great
yeah, it's
analogy.
like the luxury is now afforded to you because you have the tool
Yeah,
for
bro.
that.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the monkey's paw.
Yep.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of technology. I don't know if you are. I feel like people, take a lot of technology for granted. Um, Here's a question.
Okay.
This is a question I like. I got two for you. Okay, if you can be reborn,
Okay.
uh, at a in a random location in the
Okay.
world to a random family in a
Okay.
random circumstance,
Okay.
random everything.
All right.
Um, but you get to choose one thing, and that is the year that you are reborn. It can
Okay.
be now till as far back as you want.
To as far back as I want.
Yeah,
Okay.
what year are you choosing?
Let's see. What year am I choosing?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can go as far back as I want. Can I go far forward, or is it just like is it
No,
just how?
we'll set it at today.
Let's say that today.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Uh, but and then when I go back, there's like I'm just a baby, right? There's no knowledge or anything. I
Correct.
have okay.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I guess in that case, it's like I don't see any reason like why not to be born like as far into the future. Let's see. Let me try to think. Especially when I have no knowledge of history. Uh, yeah, I really don't see any reason why not to be like in 2025 because then
Why?
like what just to go back. I mean, I guess I could go back, the 34 years and then
So
get like
you would choose today?
yeah, I choose today just because of the in a similar sense kind of technological like advancements and also I mean with there's probably less of a chance that I because we're saying like random spot, random part of the world. I mean, there's always just a chance I end up in a shitty spot where I just get killed as a kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like as of today, there's like a less of a chance, whereas 100 years ago, probably better of a chance that I get thrown into the middle of a world war, and then I just get to become collateral fire.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Yeah. Today is the correct answer.
yeah, yeah,
um, I
exactly.
asked this question because when people like complain about stuff, and yeah, there are plenty of problems in the world, right?
For
But
sure,
like,
first world problems. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like you go back 100 years, like, yeah, what if you're born, yeah, in a world war, or I don't know, just everything's worse
yeah. Well,
100 years ago.
everything was worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, um, I'm I'm an optimist as far as, and yeah, I would probably choose the future if possible.
For sure.
Um, yeah. All right, my other question. Uh, you can have dinner with one person, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Dinner with one person, dead,
Yeah.
dead or alive.
Yeah. And they can understand your language and you can
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
them.
So there's no like communication. Like,
Yeah.
let's see. Anyone, huh?
Other than me.
Other than
Yeah,
me.
you can't choose me. I know I would be the answer, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, what? Well,
Sorry.
that takes it out. No,
Yeah.
let's see. Who do I want to talk to? I'd be curious. Oh, I'd be curious. I'd want to have probably like Leonardo da Vinci,
Woo!
just to get the idea. I mean, he had all these like plans for, and I'm just curious. Like, hey, was he just like messing around? Was he just like think, or did he actually have an idea in terms of like how to build like a helicopter or all these things? It's like in terms of
I think
yeah, I
both
guess
are
in terms
true,
of
probably.
understanding. What's that?
I think both. I think he was messing around, and also he did have
Yeah, I
some
did have
kind of
all that. Yeah.
ideas. Yeah.
Which is if you think in the time period he's in, that's like that I mean that'd be like I mean that was outstandingly ahead for time period is in. That would be crazy for really for anyone at kind of any kind of time period.
Yeah. Yeah. Great answer. Banger answer. That's one of my answers, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Um, cool. Um, advice. Uh, for any well, let's talk about two things.
Okay.
What is something that you're grateful uh for that your younger self did? Um, could be when you were in your 20s, could be before that, after that. And then number two, what is some advice you can give to any younger guys
Any younger
listening to
person.
this?
Okay. That kind of goes along. So I guess like what I'm grateful for that my younger self did is that they is like putting myself into like hard situations that pretty much forced me to grow, and then kind of not necessarily like losing the fear, but becoming more, I guess, like being more tolerant of failure and realizing that just because you're failing at at something doesn't mean that you'll always be that you'll always be bad at something, and just realizing that that kind of that kind of discomfort happens from your uh kind of happens when you're growing. So yeah, so I guess just pretty much being grateful for putting myself into like discomfortable like situations that force growth. And I guess the kind of twofold, like my advice to somebody.
Can you be more specific with that? Are you
Oh yeah,
talking like training stuff or like what are you
I'd say
talking about?
both. I'd say both training and like and both like training and also just mental. So like yeah, physically, I mean training, like, martial arts training is like physically hard, but then in terms of like the mental aspect, kind of what you're talking about reading and like learning and I would say like both like understanding the one physical toughness, but also like the mental toughness necessary to like to wanting to accomplish your goals, and realizing that there's like multiple ways to go about what multiple ways to see what growth is, and that there's always something that you can do to propel forward. It's just a matter of figuring it out. So I guess having that kind of creativity and patience to seek things through solution that probably like helpful in terms of that.
So do
And
hard things.
yeah, pretty much do hard things.
Yeah.
Do things that are difficult, do things that scare you, do things that where success isn't guaranteed. And then that's I
What
mean
about
that
scary
makes it much more
movies?
worthwhile. Yeah. And I would
Do
say
you
the
like
same thing too in
do you like
terms of
scary
younger.
movies?
What's that?
Do you like scary movies?
Do I like scary movies?
Yeah, those
Uh
scary can scare you.
yeah, nah, not really. I mean, I guess like I think I look at scary movies kind of like at a humorous kind of standpoint at this point. Like maybe I just root for the person or like thing that's like killing people. Like, oh man, that was pretty good. Like how can I top this one? But like
Dude, I don't like scary movies. Yeah. I don't know why you would spend time and or money to feel a bad emotion.
feel bad motion.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
some people. There are a lot of things that I don't understand about people, but I guess that's that's just what they choose to do.
Yeah.
So at that point,
Yeah.
like, when it comes to that, I was like, I don't even bother. Really,
Yeah.
really seeking like, okay, cool. You like to do that? That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, life
Yeah.
advice for say your past self or
Okay.
younger people.
Life. Oh yeah. So life advice for kind of on that same token, I mean, even though I'm grateful that I did it, I still, it's the thing where it's always you wish you kind of got that lesson sooner. So I don't know how I would impart that lesson to like my younger self. Maybe if I, beat myself up. But sometimes you need to because there's the knowledge, and then like you said, experience is the best thing, or one of the best things that one can do to actually gain knowledge in terms of practice. So, uh, yeah, personally, I would say, yeah, invest in invest in hard situations like more often,
Interesting.
especially if you live in I mean if you're fortunate to live in this kind of society where you're not worried about about possibly dying the next second. So I mean that's you should be
Yeah.
grateful like for the opportunity to be able to find things that you enjoy, and
Okay.
then find things that are difficult that you can enjoy.
Okay. All right. Invest in difficult things. Mine would be in 2009, sell literally all of my possession and invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. That's pretty good.
we'll see whose advice is better if we can go back in time.
I mean, if you go back in time, that probably would be. I mean, as long as you didn't like crash the market or some kind of thing. But yeah,
By buying all. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be good. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, now I would like you to give some advice to me for podcasting.
oh, for podcasting. Okay.
Yeah. If you have any, I don't
If
know.
I have
Just
any,
keep doing it, right?
yeah, I mean, it comes down to just keep doing it. I'd say like one thing that yeah that really helped me just in terms of I mean just do it because you enjoy it, and then figuring out like I guess like depends like depending on like what your goal is in terms of what you want to do. I mean, it seems like you're looking to increase like influence and just having building the kind of audience. And I would say that's it. It comes down to enjoyment and also just an exploration in terms of finding out like what works for you, and like what kind of audience that you're reaching, and then just building interaction with that too. I think kind of one of the biggest I think one of the most useful things of having of spreading information, being able to reach people, is the accessibility like to that. And I would say like through podcasts, I've been able to like connect with some people I wasn't quite expecting to make to make those kind of connections with.
Yeah.
So I think like seeing that through, and then building that, and then yeah, just building an audience that you enjoy like having, and I think that really can synergize with whatever creative thing you're looking to do.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. My goal is to have interesting conversations with interesting people about interesting things. How's
Okay,
that sound?
cool, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool, man. Well, I guess the question to ask at the end is where can people find you?
Where can
That's
people
what you
find me?
ask, right?
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, people can find me on Instagram, like Pancreation Philosopher, or I'm also like the Pocholo Cruz, like on there. I haven't really used that account for a while. Pancreation spelled Pankration. Pancreation Philosophy, this podcast I do. And yeah, pretty much can find me through there.
Yeah.
As far as
That
like projects, what's that?
that's cool. I meant your home address
Oh, my
actually.
home address. Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 123 Fake Street.
Nice. Yeah, projects. Yeah, what's on the books for you? What and also anything else you want to say?
Yeah, anything else I want to say? Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is just the I got two fighters like fighting, because this I mean this right now, I mean the date's like it's end of March, but they're fighting early April, April 11th, for Brand Risk Promotions in Miami, Florida.
Nice.
One of them is the guy you talked to, like Alberto, and then the
Yeah.
other one George Carmona. Yeah, two fighters like competing in about 2 weeks now. Looking forward to that, and then yeah, yeah, you can find me off. I'll be Fight Capital, like MMA gym here in Las Vegas, and yeah, stay tuned for that.
Do you remember the fight you and I had at
Sumo,
at
yeah,
Relay for Life? Yeah.
yeah, Relay for Life. We were in sumo suits. Yeah,
I think it might have been a little unfair just because I'm quite larger than you, and we removed any technical skill by immersing ourselves in giant
in giant sumo suits.
giant sumo suits. So it's just literally like me, a 200-pound ball
Yeah,
versus you, your 160-pound ball or whatever.
Yeah.
I
I
have a
do
feeling
remember
if we were to do a rematch without the sumo suits, even though I am larger than you, I have literally never been in a fight. So it might turn out quite differently. Um,
might turn out a little different.
I think I
Yeah.
ran away too.
Yeah. I also remember us doing a lap in the sumo suits with like carrying a flag. If I
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Those were good, bro. Relay for Lives. Yeah. We didn't do a lot of sleeping though.
No,
No.
no.
Yeah. Have you heard of Ragnar's?
Ragnars.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Ragnar. It's so much fun. It's basically you spend a weekend
Okay.
running in the mud and rain and cold
Okay.
and not sleeping. Doesn't that sound fun? It's like
Yeah. So is that kind of race? Is that
yeah, it's like a
Run
race.
Ragnar? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But you actually have to pay to do it. They don't pay
Oh,
you.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, in Influence, yeah,
Okay.
so you guys should read this.
Okay.
Influenced by Robert Cialdini. One of the things that causes people to uh bond is
Mhm.
shared
Oh,
adversity,
shared
right?
adversity. Okay.
Everyone kind of knows this, but the book goes into it more in more detail. And also like hazing for frats. People have tried to get rid of hazing, but it just
Yeah,
always comes back because it serves a very useful purpose. You go through, all this pain, and now you're more invested in the thing,
for sure.
right?
Yeah, that shared trauma. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
exactly.
no, it's a similar thing. Yeah, and I mean that's why people that have companies that have gone through war, they get like a lot closer just because yeah they've experienced like the same like horrible things like happen to them
Yeah,
in terms of that. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Me and my cushy life, man. The hardest thing I do is like leg day, which is hard. I
That's so
mean,
hard. Yeah.
squats are no joke, but compared to actual, war, even just combat against, a willing opponent
Mhm.
in a cage, like, it's kind of
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
So,
No, but I
yeah.
still yeah, but you're still challenging yourself. I think, which is the important thing. I mean, like once again when it comes down to understanding why people do certain things, it's like all right, I mean I know like what I do isn't for everybody, and that's I think in my younger time I was like, oh, I don't understand why people like wouldn't do this, and then as I get older it's like, oh yeah, this is getting more understanding of the world, like oh yeah, what I do is rather irregular, but like and just understanding that people do, yeah, there's like niches that people get into and kind of hobbies that other people enjoy, and yeah,
Dude,
it's how it
isn't
is.
isn't it interesting how your priorities change when you get older, but and also because so I've been grappling with this.
Mhm.
Nice, nice. As I basically try to figure out what to do next in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, like in high school, I wanted to be a musician, right? Like I wanted to be a jazz pianist, and then I actually got away from that pretty early. Like when I was like 20,
Yeah.
and left college, that's when I started to focus more on money. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be more of a businessman. So I got out of like the music as a career mindset pretty early, but it always
Yeah.
kind of comes back.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you know? So I guess what I'm saying is like there's some saying I heard like, why would you let a teenager yourself dictate the entire course of your life?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Where it's like when you're when you're that age, like sometimes you feel like this is what you have to do.
Mhm.
Um, which might work if it's like the right thing for you,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, why would you let a teenager dictate the entire course of your life?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
yeah, no, I think that's a great perspective, like at it, and then just like the willingness to like adapt and pivot is like is important because usually life kind of gives you like some hints or some clues if something's working or not.
It's hard, bro. So another thing with influence is like basically the harder somebody attacks your beliefs, generally the more steadfast in those beliefs you become, right?
Yeah. You want to defend it more
So,
because you get attacked so hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
say you have a debate between a staunch atheist and a staunch, let's say, Christian,
Christian, okay.
right? And
Yeah.
they're both like attacking each other. If anything, likely they're going to be more steadfast in their beliefs.
Mhm.
We it would be good if we didn't, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I try to not have this happen to me, but like in high school when I was like, I'm gonna do music for my career, and people
Yeah.
were like, that's a bad idea. Like, yeah, you shouldn't. Music's not a good career. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, well, F you, like I'm gonna do it, and it made me more
Yeah.
steadfast, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, and over time, I was like, maybe it's not the right career for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah,
No, totally,
like
totally understand that. Yeah.
yeah. Like when people are attacking you, you want to defend your beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mentally and like physically, that's kind of what happens. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you want to defend yourself physically when you're being attacked?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
that's
that?
good.
Attack
Good.
my ideas? Like,
Yeah,
defend yourself then.
yeah, yeah, man. All right, well, what do you say we wrap this thing up?
Cool.
This was fun, bro.
Yep.
Um,
Good.
thank you for being on, and thank you everybody for listening. And until next time, signing off. Pocholo, thank you.